Hi guys, my name is Abioye. I want you to be watching NAS TV Africa. They are giving premium content.
Shout out to NAS TV Africa.
NAS TV Africa. In Africa, for Africa.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Nasser Abdulkadir from NAS TV Africa. We have Manifest Africa's Greatness. And today on Politics Today, we will be discussing about the protest that is ongoing in Nigeria. I think it's the trendy thing now, and everybody is talking about it. And we are privileged to have in our studio Dr. Abioye Mumeen, the research scientist and research fellow of the Japan International Corporation. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And we are privileged, extremely privileged to have in our midst another Dr. Dipo Akanbi, head of Department Agricultural Economics, University of Ilorin, and the Association, National President, Association of Nigeria Authors. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you, my pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. And let's just call the chase. I'm going to start from you, sir, Mr. President of Association of Nigeria Authors. Let me ask briefly, in 30 seconds, 1 minute, what's your concept of protest?
Protest is, I see that a legitimate tries to agitate against anything that's unfavorable to you, that you consider that an anathema to protest an action, to go against an action that is inimical to your interest in terms of your living. So anything that's going to be dangerous to you, to your living, endanger your life and property and everything, or your source of livelihood, you can protest against it.
So there's nothing wrong about protesting against all these things.
Your livelihood is paramount.
It's paramount.
What is going to?
All right. Okay. Let me the same question.
Yeah. For me, protest, just as he has rightly mentioned, the only addition to it is, for me, the word itself, everything that has to do with the word, it's a product of protest. Okay. Because when you have to move from one point to another, it's as a result of the fact that you are probably not satisfied with the existing structure. So if we say that today, before there wasn't anything like electricity, so the word evolved to a point that you could just tap the wall of your room and you are going to get light. It's a product of protest. So it means that some people at some point felt that we shouldn't be in darkness. Inner protest. Outward protest. And they charged themselves and decided, okay, we've got to do something about this. Is there something we can do? Can we mix A plus B and be able to generate light? That's protest. Today you can sit here and speak with somebody in Sokoto without having to write a letter. It's a product of protest. Because somebody felt this is becoming too lengthy, it's becoming too long. I don't have to travel 750 kilometers. What can we do? So these are so when we begin to look at protest from this prism, I think we are likely to be comfortable with it and see it more like all right, thank you. So at the risk of sounding blasphemous, I can easily say that Adam and Eve protested against not touching the apple. That's why we found ourselves here today.
You spoke my mind.
All right.
You spoke my mind, but protest can be legitimate and illegitimate.
All right. There's a difference between protesting against existing order or laws and order. Good. Now let me go straight to another point that's agitating people's mind. Every corner, people are talking against protest, benching it on the experience of EndSARS in year 2020. Do you think that protest in Nigeria in particular is not good enough, or we're not right to protest in Nigeria? What do you think, sir?
During Trump presidency, when he was coming out, there was a similar protest from the Republicans.
When he lost?
When he lost. And maybe they are the civilized world. So sometimes in liberal democracy, there's always a tendency of protest to assume the kind of dimension which you saw during the EndSARS, in which probably law and order can break down. That circumstances would law and order also break down. Let me give an example. It is a natural phenomenon. Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans. Americans were there looting, doing all kind of a thing. So any protest that comes, there's always a tendency for some miscreants to, get involved. So that's why some people say there's organized protest, and there's protests probably which are spontaneous, and there's some that can be organized but can be hijacked. in such a way that is not favorable to what the cause is.
Okay.
People like Martin Luther King went to protest. Protest, but non-violent protest. Mahatma Gandhi was also an advocate for protest, non-violent civil disobedience.
Okay.
So there are sort of protests, but it depends. But some people believe that protests can come in various forms in South Africa.
Okay.
Initially, it was peaceful. Soweto massacre came up.
Okay.
They had to resort to violent armed struggle. So sometimes it depends on the exigencies of that society. It depends on the kind of democracy that's being practiced. For instance, you cannot go and protest in North Korea. You know the implication.
Okay.
And China, Tiananmen Square massacre is also in our memory.
Okay.
So it depends on the system that's operational that determines the kind of protest. So some people today might protest today and see it as legitimate in Nigeria. But tomorrow, if they're in government, they will see it as illegitimate. It's natural. Those who are protesting today,
so that's a relative belief in protest. All right, so let me quickly come to you, Dr. Mumeen. Do you think there could be any alternative to protest because we are afraid of being hijacked?
Yes, thank you very much. That's very fundamental. The protest, just like we have established, is just a way legitimately to say that, okay, we are not in tune with this, can we do it this way? So if we have all agreed that it's an avenue for people to get corrections, it could be policy, somersault, or whatever it is, of course there has to be several ways. It's just unfortunate that the kind of democracy we practice in this part of the world, we have not really, we seem to have just stereotyped democracy to mean this aspect and this aspect without looking at the other aspects of values that democracy will give a people. We are saying today hunger is very prevalent in the land. People are moving from one position to vulnerability. These are measures that obviously has to be spoken out by the people. But should it be only through protest? How about other measures like petitioning your democratically elected members of legislature? Nigerians are aware of the fact that in a democracy you are allowed to also send your own bill through your elected representative to the National Assembly. If you decide not to do your bidding, and Nigerians are aware of the fact that you could collect to third majority of the number of votes through which that person become a member of the parliament and bring him down just for not doing that. And Nigerians also are aware of the fact that you could organize on your own a town hall and invite your elected representative that want to give a message to Abuja. Just go and do these things. And these guys will come. But because we have not been exploring some of these avenues, Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians, and even the representatives and leaders who are aware of this felt that you should not. So there are some, like they say, it's not only one route that enters the market. There are several other avenues. But unfortunately, Nigerians, we have always believed that without strike action, protest, our democracy is not. So
thank you very much.
We could just peculiarize our democracy and time. We do not want to use this and this to agitate, to get corrections for our perceived injustice or whatever. And it has to be really protest.
Thank you very much.
We've got to encourage the populace to know that if protest will not work, town hall could work, petitioning or bringing your House of Representatives.
All right, thank you
sending
very much.
Memo directly to the
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think I appreciate that. Now let me now use double question in this regard. Okay, fine, protest. I think the federal government said they are doing reform, and I realized that when the subsidy was first removed, people didn't protest because it was moved last year. There was no any sort of protest. So is it the policy that is having problem or the impact of the policy? But if people did not protest then, why now?
Is the
if they believe in the policy, why are they now protesting?
Is the subsidy really removed? Because I'm getting confused by the day.
Okay, that's another discussion for another day.
But the truth of it is that any government that comes to power has close to almost about a year or two to get its feet. Even they might give him a kind of handing over notes and things like that, but things are not what they seem by the time you sit down in governance. And because we know that when it if you want something to be bad, those 8 years of low-cost years that we had before Tinubu, it's going to be a difficult thing for you to normalize certain things. So he wanted to sit down to see what can quickly be done. Add a quick fix solution here, the solution here, and they will think of a long-term solution. So for people believe because they massively voted in some part of the country, in the north and particularly in the southwest for him, if you have now given him the mantle of leadership for him to, you have to give him some concessions so that he can use it to balance himself. But it should have taken 2 years before this protest came up. But the truth of it is that, as I said before you, between yesterday and today, those who have called, who have asked, requested that I send money to them are close to 10.
Okay.
Yeah, that tells you the massive nature of the poverty that is on the land.
Okay.
And what is disturbing people? Why would you be building a vice president lodge at 21 billion at this point in time? Okay. Can't we see examples that we are seeing in Niger State? Okay. Can't we see examples that we are seeing in Niger Republic? Can't we see examples that we are seeing in Burkina Faso? Why would you be thinking of building the coastal railway at this particular point in time? Can't we think of something that can engage youth massively in agricultural production? Because we have all it takes to drive agriculture. But I was in Morocco. I saw how bad it is when it comes to their resources, for farming resources. Yet they are able to feed themselves, provide light from themselves. What is happening? What kind of leadership would we have? When it comes to this, our House of Assembly that we are talking about, when you are looking for a people, come with a 2-1, come with a 2-2. When you now come to a councillor or your governor, they will say come with a primary school certificate. Yeah. So what you put into the system is what you are going to use. So there must be a fundamental restructuring. In our education. Not just in Nigeria. Even what we need in Nigeria is an illiberal democracy. A leadership, but also thriving on a liberal democracy. Illiberal democracy is not the sort that when you want to ram your policy, the president might not be in position to ram a policy down those neck of those people. Right, he has to settle.
Let me interject and you respond. But what I can deduce from your statement now is that Nigeria are going through austerity, but they are not seeing in their leaders. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, they are not seeing it.
Okay.
Exactly, and we have a very high governance structure. If somebody comes to
what about all the palliatives that have been sent to the state through governors?
Those ones, I don't know how they say in English.
Okay. Okay.
We are just doing cosmetic approach to looking at things.
Okay.
For instance, like there's a young man in Pagoda of Agric who finished there. He has been supplying the tomato needs of most of the staff over 1 month. He invested just 500,000 and is doing fantastically well now.
Okay.
So if he could produce it within here, why then do we get it wrong? Every year we bring ram into Kwara. People will kill ram. What substance for producing a ram? All the fathers in the farm.
All right.
They treat them in Morocco and they put them into procedures.
Thank you very much. Now let me ask this. I'm rounding up gradually. Now about 3-4 weeks ago, he came up with the idea of please ask your governor. I'm doing much. That all the money I remove from subsidy, I'm sharing it with the state governor. What are they doing with it? Please ask them. But nobody thinks it. In fact, I don't think anybody has protested to the government house in any other state. What's happening? What do you think? Do you think it's the responsibility of the governor, or the president should have known what to do with the money removed? Dr. Mumeen.
Absolutely, you are very right. Just like he has rightly said, I think there's a need. You know, I said it earlier on that our problem is this idea of copy and paste kind of democratic.
Okay.
At some point, we wanted to tailor our governance structure towards the UK. After some time, we felt okay, that should be the federation system of the United States of America. But what I feel should have happened is to peculiarize our own kind of governance structure.
Okay.
Design it, let it be tailor-made to our own taste, our own culture, our own customary sense, our own orientation. If not for the fact that the federating unit has to do with the state, the local government, and the person. So there's a limit to. That's how you have seen that. What I see with Mr. President is because it's almost becoming helpless. Because the essence of subsidy removal is for you to be able to accrue much more revenue for the government. Okay. And you look at it. I say it emphatically today that there is no state in Nigeria whose allocation has not risen above 60%. There are some of them that are getting almost 100%.
What about the standard of living of the citizens?
What has happened to standard of living? So we now see, look at the Punch report that about a month ago or 2 months ago, that they looked into first quarter expenditure of some state and they realized that some state government has spent as much as, is it in billions or trillions of naira within the first quarter of the year for items like traveling for refreshment in the government house and all that, as a product of the fact that they are getting more Abuja. I think unless and until we peculiarize our governance system in such a way that you and I, the citizens, who have responsibility in some of these things, we may just be rolling around one. But because much money is coming from Abuja, but the result of the much more money is not seen. Because the governors have constituted themselves as some sort of untouchables within the federation system.
Thank you.
So may I just add to what he just said? You know,
maybe let me ask this question so that you just bring it together. Hypothetically, you are privileged to sit with the president and the protest is still ongoing for the next 10 days. What will you advise the president to do? Then you can now respond.
If I'm to sit with the president, I will tell him that to sit down to do a correct diagnosis of the problem that's affecting Nigeria.
Check face-to-face the demands of protesters.
No, the demand is just a rancorous crowd that is coming, that we are hungry. Nobody has really outlined what they want.
They did.
No, some of them.
They made some that they should return subsidy.
No.
That
you see, some will tell you on what basis will you return subsidy.
Everything is hinged on
hunger. You get what I'm saying? Somebody will tell on what basis will you return subsidy. If you return subsidy there, we'll go back to square one. Have you solved the problem?
As long as they are buying fuel for 200 naira.
What I'm saying that, why do you have an NNPC that have been there for almost about 40-50 years without refining oil? People, Nigerians have refineries outside of the country. So why are those refineries working and our own refineries are not working? Why is our Jokuta? If the Aduka cannot be doing, then
I mean immediate solution that can take people off the street.
So once you now say, okay, you take some radical decision like they took in Burkina Faso. First and foremost was that, I mean, vehicles that are not necessary should go out. Secondly, health this same, bring vehicles that can take people to the health and what have you. Thirdly, look at the youth unemployment statistics and begin to find an instant solution to the youth unemployment statistics so that people can even have an employment agency.
Like encouraging SME.
An employment agency that you can be able to, you can use that to do a kind of critical analysis. What is their employment status? Then fourthly, for me, civil servants, they said they're 30%. But to be able to put money in the civil servant's hand, the public servant's hand, is going to have, like I told you, going to have a multiplier effect on those who surround them. But the truth of it is that the kind of governance we have is the pharaonic type of governor. They want to build pyramids. They want to build structures for their posterity, and we are going to use your blood. And so until your blood thins out, so there's nothing they can do. It's until they now have a people-centered policy, like what is happening in Argentina. When the president got there, he restructured the entire system, brought out things that can increase productivity, increase foreign direct investment, getting closer to people. And who wants to come to equity must come with clean hands. When people are still driving cars that we don't manufacture in Nigeria, living in houses that all those kind of things will send a wrong signal that we are suffering and they are thriving. The money they're sending to the state governors, I'm putting it, is because the party doesn't have a policy. Which is central or ideology. If the parties, APC have been there for 8 years, they are now going to their another 4 years, and we are still having that kind of a problem that we are having. What are you going to expect? They will now come and tell that the problem that I have was from PDP days. Who doesn't know that PDP is what is in APC?
Thank you very much. So, let me for the now
I have the opportunity of
to sit with the president. Maybe in 1 minute.
Okay. First and foremost, I will have to ask Mr. President to address the nation. There's a need for Mr. President to talk to the people. If I'm the president right now, I have the opportunity of meeting. What stopped Mr. President to address a state-of-the-art broadcast? You don't need to be sending your minister. These guys were not elected. Nigerians elected you. They want to hear from you. Why not talk to them? So that's number one. Two, I'm going to take it from where our leader said it. There's a need for people in government to show emotional intelligence. You have to really empathize, not sympathize with people. In empathizing, it means you are going to take actions. And what are those actions? Why not that stops every government organization's MD from using cars that are not made there. Why not make a policy to ensure that every state governor or every local government chairman ensures that their children or their wards attend schools within their location?
All right.
Why not bring about a situation whereby Nigerians sees you that you can work from your home instead of working from a presidential villa that you need to spend a whole lot of money? Why not divert that money? So I think it's just about ensuring that you exercise restraint in what makes you Mr. President.
All right, thank you.
Nigerians sees you doing this. I'm sure Nigerians will want to follow you. And lastly, because we're all workers, you need to put money, spend the money for the people. Don't spend it. Blood of Nigerian workers are almost getting dry now. So the cost of living, the salary of about $45 per month. The minimum wage is just about $45.
Thank you very much.
Taking us back to.
So by and large, the president should be presidential.
Yes.
At this point in time. Now, maybe let me just start with one word for the protesters.
The protester, just like we have always said, should itemize and make sure that there's law. Even in craziness, in madness, there's method. There has to be a method to encourage, to discourage criminality. And this will be a method to set a benchmark of what you want. Why don't we have a protest that is going to be like 7 to 2 o'clock? Then the rest of the day, every other activity gets back to
Thank you very much.
That's what I
want. One word for them.
I say the same thing he said. I have nothing to say more to what he has said.
Thank you very much. We're so excited to have both of you here. We love to be discussed, but it's going to be continuous. As long as there's protests on that street, we are going to continue. So we appreciate Dr. Usman Dipo Akanbi.
My pleasure.
We are very happy to have you, the National Association of Nigeria Hunters, President, National President of Nigeria Hunters.
I also appreciate NAS TV for the good work they are doing.
Thank you very much, sir. And we appreciate Dr. Abioye Mumeen, the researcher from Japan. It's a pleasure to see you. So we love to call you again to discuss further on this. Thank you. My name is Nasir Abdulkadir from NAS TV Africa. This is where we call it today. Kindly subscribe to our channel on YouTube and let us know your view about this. Thank you and God bless you.